All right, so are you ready to dive deep into the career of Tony Todd?
Oh, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this is going to be good. So we've got obituaries, biographical information, tributes from co-stars, a lot to work with.
Sounds like a real deep dive.
Yeah, it is. And our mission today is to really uncover what made Tony Todd so captivating,
Hmm.
especially for fans of horror and sci-fi.
Absolutely. He had such a presence on screen and his voice, instantly recognizable.
Right. Okay, so we have to start with Candyman.
Of course. The role that solidified his place in horror history.
Exactly. It's iconic. I mean, that performance was just,
Chilling.
yeah, chilling.
Mm.
And he brought a depth to that character. It could have easily been a one-dimensional boogeyman.
Oh, for sure. But he gave Candyman a tragic history, a sense of injustice that fueled his rage.
Yes. And you could see the pain behind the hook. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It wasn't just a monster under a sheet.
No, it was a nuanced portrayal that added layers to the horror. And the fact that he returned to the role multiple times
Right, for sequels and even the 2021 reimagining.
shows his dedication to the character and its impact on fans.
For sure. And he recognized the cultural significance of Candyman,
Yeah.
particularly within the Black community. He embraced that responsibility.
Yeah, his co-star, Virginia Madsen, even called him an angel, both on and off screen.
A real testament to the kind of person he was.
Absolutely. And while Candyman made him a horror legend,
Right?
his filmography is so diverse, he was in everything.
Platoon, The Rock, Final Destination, over 100 film and television credits.
It's amazing. He wasn't afraid to explore different genres, challenge himself as an actor.
He seemed to have this drive to constantly push boundaries.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, let's talk about his voice acting career.
Oh, yes. That voice.
That voice could rumble like an earthquake.
Yeah.
Chills down your spine every time.
Perfect for larger-than-life characters and villains.
You think of Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, The Flash, even Venom in that new Spider-Man game.
Incredible range.
Can you imagine anyone else bringing that intensity to those roles?
It's hard to imagine.
I know, right? And that Venom role actually earned him a BAFTA nomination.
Wow.
Yeah. This wasn't just a side gig for him. He put the same passion into his voice work as he did his on-screen performances.
It speaks to his dedication to the craft, which actually started much earlier in his career.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He trained at prestigious institutions like the Eugene O'Neill National Actors Theater Institute and the Trinity Repertory Company.
So this wasn't someone who just fell into acting.
Yeah.
He actively pursued, honed his skills.
Exactly. And that foundation shows in the depth he brought to each role.
For sure. And his theatrical background also played a huge role.
Oh, absolutely. He was in acclaimed stage productions like August Wilson's King Hedley II
Wow.
and Athol Fugard's The Captain's Tiger. He even received a Helen Hayes Award nomination for that one.
That's incredible. From the intensity of Candyman to the nuances of stage performance, the range is just mind-blowing.
Makes you want to go back and explore some of his lesser-known works.
All right. I think that's what we're going to do when we come back from this break.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on the incredible Tony Todd.
It's amazing to think about all the roles he could have taken on if he had more time.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a real loss for the acting community.
Absolutely. But his legacy lives on through his work.
Oh, for sure. And for those listening who want to dive even deeper,
Yeah.
there are tons of interviews and behind-the-scenes content available online.
He was great in interview.
Oh, he was so articulate and thoughtful. Really understood the power of storytelling.
And the impact actors can have on audiences.
Okay, I have to ask,
Yeah.
what is your favorite Tony Todd performance?
Oh, that's a tough one. There are so many to choose from.
I know, right? But if you had to pick one,
I'm particularly fond of his work in The Man from Earth.
The Man from Earth.
Yeah, it's a smaller film, more intimate than some of his other roles,
Okay.
but his performance is so nuanced and captivating. It really showcases his range.
That's so interesting, because I think my favorite has to be the original Candyman.
Oh, a classic.
It really is. That film was groundbreaking, and his performance was unforgettable.
You can't go wrong with Candyman.
But it's great that there's so much variety in his filmography.
Absolutely. There's something for everyone, whether you're a horror fan or you prefer sci-fi or even dramatic roles.
You're bound to find something you love in Tony Todd's work.
It all comes back to his versatility as an actor. He wasn't afraid to take risks, try new things.
And that fearlessness made him so compelling to watch.
He was always pushing the boundaries of his craft.
So you never knew what you were going to get.
But you knew it would be unforgettable.
Exactly. And it's fascinating how his roles often reflected the fears and anxieties of the times.
Oh, in what way?
Well, take Candyman, for example. It explored issues of race and social injustice.
Right.
And the Final Destination films tapped into our fear of the unknown and the fragility of life.
He had a real knack for choosing roles that resonated with audiences on a deeper level.
It makes you wonder what kind of impact his work will have on future generations.
That's a good question.
Will these films continue to hold the same power?
I think his work will definitely be studied and analyzed for years to come.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how those films age and how they're interpreted in different cultural contexts.
And hopefully his work will continue to inspire and challenge audiences.
To confront their own fears and prejudices.
I couldn't agree more. His legacy is one of courage, artistry, and a deep understanding of the human condition.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about his iconic roles, his range, his impact on the industry.
And his enduring legacy.
Exactly. But before we wrap up this deep dive into Tony Todd, we want to hear from you.
Yes. What's your favorite Tony Todd performance?
What resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts and memories in the comments below.
We'd love to hear your reflections on his remarkable career.
And if you're feeling inspired, maybe even revisit one of his lesser-known films or TV appearances.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
There's a whole world of Tony Todd out there waiting to be explored.
That's the beauty of a deep dive like this. It sparks curiosity and sends you down new paths of discovery.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder. Tony Todd often played characters who were haunted by the past, by the injustices they had suffered.
Interesting.
It makes you think about the power of memory and how it shapes our lives. How do we confront the ghosts of our own past?
How do we find redemption and move forward?
These are questions that his work invites us to grapple with, both on screen and in our own lives.
Food for thought indeed.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Tony Todd. Until next time, keep exploring and keep questioning. It's fascinating, isn't it? How he wasn't afraid to explore those darker sides of humanity.
It really is, and that's what made his work so compelling, you know? He didn't shy away from those flawed characters, those inner demons.
Like Candyman. He wasn't just a monster. He was a victim driven by revenge.
But there was that tragic element to him, a sense of longing.
That really resonated with audiences.
Yeah. Exactly. He went beyond the typical horror villain, you know? He made you think about the cycle of violence and the consequences of prejudice.
Even in his more action-oriented roles, like Captain Darrow in The Rock,
Right.
you could see the weight of his experience in his eyes.
He often drew on his military background for those performances.
It added a layer of authenticity.
Absolutely. It's like he used his own life to inform his acting.
And it made him so believable, so captivating. You felt like you were watching real people.
Even when they were facing those supernatural threats.
Exactly. And it's interesting how his voice acting added another dimension to his work.
Oh, definitely.
That booming voice could be so intimidating.
But also vulnerable at times.
Right, like Olin in Transformers, such gravitas, ancient wisdom mixed with malice.
And then Venom in Spider-Man 2. So much aggression and ferocity, but also a hint of playfulness.
He could do it all. Command your attention with a single word, or draw you in with a whisper.
He really understood the power of the voice.
And the art of storytelling.
He was more than just an actor. He was a storyteller.
A legacy that will continue to inspire.
Absolutely. For those just discovering his work or maybe revisiting a favorite performance, take a moment to appreciate the depth, the passion, the brilliance he brought to every role.
He was a master of his craft.
Without a doubt.
And we are all richer for having experienced his work. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Tony Todd. Until next time, keep exploring.